William Hill sponsors Martin vs. Joshua on Sky Sports Box Office.
Radio Raheem here with the most recognizable voice in boxing, none other than Michael Buffer. Once again, on this side of the pond, you're here for Anthony Joshua facing Charles Martin for the IBF Heavyweight Championship. And there's quite a few fights coming up, and even one that shares this night. So we're going to take a little bit of your time and run through these fights and your expertise. Obviously, we're going to start with Charles Martin versus Anthony Joshua. I'm curious to know what you think of this matchup and what kind of chance Martin is taking.
Really both fighters are taking a chance. You have a fighter who's the challenger, 15-0, 15 KOs, moving up to fight a world champion. Charles Martin, Prince Charles Martin, it's a great title to come here and fight with that name. He is really showing what he's made of to make his first title defense here, 6,000 miles from home. I think he lives in Carson, California, St. Louis native. And, it shows that he has confidence, he has courage, and he's a big guy. I mean, I just saw him for the first time here at this press conference. And 6'6", 6'5", 245. Big puncher, 21 KOs in his 23 wins. He hasn't lost a fight yet, one draw. I think all we need is a referee that knows how to count to 10.
Now, you've seen quite a few matchups in your day. So when you look at two guys that are relatively young in the sport, fighting for a world championship, do you think that the little bit of experience that Martin has, more rounds in the ring over Joshua, is an advantage, or is Joshua's 15 knockouts out of 15 fights and that kind of confidence of fighting at home an advantage for him?
Fighting at home, great power. He's obviously a focused fighter, never out of shape. Those are all the things he brings, and the other guy has the big knockout record to show for himself too. His last 13 fights have all stopped inside the distance for Martin. Once again, we don't think this fight's going to go the distance. Do you?
Not at all. Not at all. All right. So let me ask you this. I know you're not going to give me a direct prediction, but I'll put it to you this way: if the fight stops under 5 rounds, who do you have winning?
Come on, come on, Raheem. You know better than that.
I got an over-under.
We've been doing this for a while. You always try to do this. Now, that's not going to happen.
All right, well...
The only thing, and I've said this to you before, the only thing I will predict is pain.
Pain. All right, no matter what round, we're going to definitely get some pain.
Clubber Lang from Rocky 3 or 4, whatever it was. Pain.
All right, so some analysts think that under 5 rounds, whatever the odds are, that maybe Martin can surprise him early. If it goes long, then Joshua's probably going to go ahead and get that victory between 7 and 12. That's why I asked that question.
All those analysts, they never took a punch. So we just have to let these guys do what they got to do.
Well, someone who's definitely taken a punch is Manny Pacquiao, and he's fighting on the same night. He's fighting Timothy Bradley in Las Vegas. What do you think of that matchup, and does Timothy have a shot at winning the rubber match?
Yes, he does. He definitely does, because I think the first time they fought, it was for at 140 pounds, and they were maybe welterweights the second time, I'm not sure, but they were both like 143 or 44. This time, he's a full-size, rock-solid welterweight who may be a better fighter than in his other 2 fights. And Pacquiao, we have to see how he is with the repaired shoulder and coming off a loss 10 months ago to Mayweather. So there are questions there, and that makes that fight a very interesting fight, no doubt about it. Could be a great fight.
And when you see a fighter who gets a new trainer that he really believes in, that he feels makes him better, how much of a difference do you think that makes, and will that make a difference in this matchup?
Yeah, he seems to have a great rapport with Teddy Atlas, and I can't really comment on whether it'll make a difference or not, but I think, and all reports show that he's in great shape, and that rapport that he has means a lot on fight night. And of course, Manny Pacquiao has the Hall of Fame trainer with Freddie Roach. So we've got 2 great fighters and 2 great trainers going head-to-head.
Do you really think this will be Pacquiao's last fight?
No.
No, I hope so. I hope not either, because I want to see the last one, and I'm going to be here on that night. Okay. One more. Canelo Alvarez facing Amir Khan, this British hometown fighter, going to America, trying to make a huge, huge statement. Where do you see that matchup coming out?
This is a really, really interesting fight. Because I just saw Amir in Oakland. He came to the fight with that Andre Ward had a few weeks ago, and he looks really, looks really big. He looks like a middleweight. His arms and everything. I mean, not fat or heavy. He really looks like a big guy, a much bigger guy than we're used to seeing, and he'll probably come in easily at a solid 153, 154.
You know, it's interesting because, once again, the scribes, who feel like we know everything, think like, okay, he's bigger, that's better, maybe, but his main arsenal is speed, being able to beat you to the punch. So
Skill, great skill.
Does that weight, putting on that weight, slow him down and actually disadvantage him with a heavy puncher in Canelo, who's not necessarily slow, maybe not that quick of foot? So when you look at the power matchup, hopefully Amir Khan still retains the speed. Does speed beat power, or is it vice versa?
Yeah, that's what makes the fight really interesting, is because Canelo Alvarez has great power at 155 pounds. I'm curious to see how that works out at 160 when he finally wants to move up to a real middleweight. But at 154, 155 pounds, he's a devastating puncher. He's proved that 30-plus times or more in his career. And Amir is not generally known for having a great chin. All fighters can get hurt. So, it's just going to be an interesting fight. I don't see him losing any speed in conditioning. He hasn't fought like in 9 months or something. He's walking around at this weight. He trains all the time. He's a good athlete. I don't think he loses any speed. He may gain in power, though.
And if I can skip ahead into the calendar a little bit, you were there for Andre Ward. Do you think he's ready for Kovalev? Does he need a fight before then? What did you see? We hadn't seen him so long, in that way. What did you think? What was your assessment?
Andre Ward is a great fighter. Kovalev is a devastating puncher. I think we're going to see the type of matchup we always love, and that's boxer versus puncher. And Ward is undefeated, well-focused. He looked much better this time at the weight compared to when he weighed 172 in a fight half a year ago. So he looks like he's really comfortable at 175 and a solid, a big-time fighter, no doubt about it.
Michael Buffer, who's had to have seen more fights up close than anybody we could possibly talk to. It's always a pleasure to get your analysis and just to hear your voice directly into my ear. It is a pleasure, sir.
All right, good to see you.
Radio Raheem with Michael Buffer.